Hey champions, Hung Lee here today, and today's presentation we're going to be talking about the ultimate B2B Facebook ad system that allows you to get more clients, customers, and deals on demand. And just for the record, I'm not selling anything on this presentation today. This is 100% pure content that most probably you won't find anywhere else on the market, especially at this time. So I really hold my promise to that, and that you're really going to be able to get a multitude of gold nuggets from this presentation alone. So quickly go grab a pad and a pen to be able to take some serious notes, because we're going to really go full steam ahead. Okay, so what exactly are you going to learn today? You're going to learn how to combine both account-based marketing and Facebook ads in order to land big deals on demand. So look, if you're looking to go ahead and close clients at $500 a month, $200 a month, okay, that's fine. But today's presentation really is about going after more of the big deals, the bigger clients, the corporate deals, which normally is quite out of reach if you use traditional methods. So please do keep that in mind. You're also going to learn how to instantly differentiate yourself from other B2B marketers and be perceived as an expert, authority, and strategic advisor all in one go. And thirdly, you're going to learn how exactly do we go ahead and bypass the gatekeepers. That's always a challenge for most people when they're going after big corporate clients or bigger clients. There's always some serious crazy gatekeeper. So how do we actually bypass those gatekeepers, create mass influence so that we can really inspire people within the organization to reach out to the decision makers and essentially be that Trojan horse to the decision maker that can actually say yes, not say no. Okay, finally, you can say goodbye to no more cold calling. I know many of you who are watching this presentation right now, you hate cold calling, and don't get me wrong, I myself hate cold calling. I've never enjoyed it as a follow-up strategy. Okay, it's great, but cold calling someone for the sake of it is just, it's too 1990s for me. It just doesn't work anymore. Secondly, no more dealing with window shopper prospects. This is really about laser targeting clients, dealing with big accounts that you really want to go ahead and close. You're not dealing with clients or prospects where you have to really slave away, give away free content, be at the mercy of their discretion. This is really about going after clients who really value your expertise. No more working 100-hour work weeks. Look, if you want to do that, that's entirely up to you. Personally, that's not how I live my lifestyle. I don't advocate it to anyone, because eventually you're going to burn out and you can't really be the best founder. You can't really be the best lead of your organization if you're burnt out. No more creating endless amounts of content. That's always one common sort of fear, objection that I get from a lot of the entrepreneurs I coach is, look, do I have to create a huge amount of content to reach out these bigger fish, bigger deals? You know, I'm overwhelmed enough as it is. You don't. This is really about having that one strategic leverage point, and how do we propagate that through the right mediums? And then lastly, no more trying to be everything to everyone. This is about understanding that if you go out there fishing with spears, you will always beat the person who's trying to throw a random net out there and catch whatever fish that comes their way. Before we proceed, it's certainly fair on both of our sides that you really understand exactly who I am. So who is Hung Lee? I'm an engineer turned entrepreneur since 2009. In the process since then, since 2009, I've built and sold two companies, one of which was a mobile app business back in 2012, sold that for 6 figures. I also sold a digital marketing agency with 40 staff within the Philippines. A lot of my staff were outsourced, but they were pretty much permanent on record. And I sold that company for 7 figures in 2014. So I've certainly had a whole lot of fun in the process, but I've had a whole lot of challenges and headaches. Don't get me wrong, it hasn't been smooth sailing. So currently at the moment, I'm a business growth advisor, mentor, and I absolutely love traveling around, meeting entrepreneurs from all parts of the globe, going to mastermind retreats to discuss cutting edge strategies, and I'm absolutely obsessed with helping entrepreneurs build businesses fast. Why build a business slow when you have the opportunity to build a business fast in today's age, and where technology moves so fast, you just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But what you can guarantee is that you have the skills to be able to embrace speed of agility. So, how exactly did I discover what I'm about to share with you today in today's presentation? Long story short, so up until this day, as of this presentation, I've spent roughly about 1.5 million on Facebook advertising, and this presentation isn't about going ahead and trying to get you to spend 1.5 million on FB advertising, but to go ahead and empower you to be able to learn from my mistakes and what I've really learned to be the cutting edge strategies, so that you don't have to go through the numerous failures and the numerous errors that I've made in order to learn the lessons about to share with you in today's presentation. So most certainly you don't have to pull your hair out like this guy in this presentation right here. You're going to really walk away with a lot of gold nuggets that I hope you are able to share with others, but most importantly are able to implement within your own company. Secondly, a lot of the content which is taught out there about Facebook ads courses, nothing to them, each to their own. I'm sure a lot of these courses have gold nuggets here and there that work. The problem with a lot of the information which is preached out there, it's not really preached by people who actually put their own money into the campaigns. They'll go ahead and say, okay, yeah, I've managed $1 million, but how much of that was actually your money versus how much of those funds was actually, your client's actual budget. Because when you're dealing with your own real money as a business owner, and when you understand that every dollar counts, you make much more strategic moves, and you're much more likely to be able to really think properly and think much more strategic as opposed to tactical, where it's just all about, okay, let's do this today, let's do that tomorrow, and just throw a whole bunch of stuff against the wall and see what sticks. So today's whole presentation is really about how do we go ahead and become much more strategic with our Facebook ads in order to land big deals. Like, you can say goodbye to tactics. Okay, tactics are great because at the end of the day, tactics will go ahead and test the limits of your strategy, so that if you find a tactic which is actually repeatable, then you can go ahead and put a standard procedure in place where it does become a strategy. But for now, let's just say goodbye to tactics. Let's focus entirely on strategy, on making strategic moves, because that's really what it takes to be able to 10x your business moving forward with Facebook ads. So the $1 million question is, which I was really driven to really ask myself after all of this frustration of spending 1.5 million Facebook ads, after all this frustration of seeing all these tactics online, was what if there was an evergreen strategy that could predictably bring in highly qualified clients, customers, and deals on demand with 0% waste? Okay, so the key thing here isn't so much the evergreen side, highly predictable clients. Okay, that's great. You're going to find information on that left, right, and center. But how do you do that with 0% waste? How do you go ahead and pinpoint big client accounts where every single person in the organization who sees the ad is actually adding to your branding, is adding to your awareness, and is adding to your conversions? That ultimately really is the new age of what I call, or what people call, account-based marketing, where we look at every single client as an account. We're not trying to be everything to everyone. We're fishing with spears. We're not throwing out this huge net and just trying to catch anyone. Before I really get into it, I have to give credit where credit is due, and the fact that a lot of what I'm sharing with you today is by me being able to have the humility to stand on the shoulders of giants before me. And the first giant that I'll mention is Chet Holmes, as you can see on the far left. So Chet Holmes is the author of Ultimate Sales Machine. He's the late author of Ultimate Sales Machine, and he's well known as one of the top strategic marketing and sales experts of our time. So he came up with what was mentioned in his book, The Best Buy Strategy, where you really get laser focused on who your dream clients are, your dream customers are, and you go after them relentlessly. You don't give up. But the key to that is the moment you get just 1, 2, or 3 of your dream clients within that dream 100, the other 97 start to really take notice. And that's why it's such a domino effect. It's such a strategic move to go after your best buyers and to not go ahead and try to throw this net out and see whatever fish that you can catch. Secondly, I'm sure many of you know who are watching this presentation, Gary Vaynerchuk. So he's the CEO of VaynerMedia, he's a serial entrepreneur, 4 times best-selling author and investor. So he is quite vocal about a lot of Facebook ads, everything to do with dark posts, social media, growing businesses fast through social media. So he's an absolute gun. So I really have to give credit to Gary in being able to really be the catalyst who sparked my mindset in terms of how powerful Facebook dark posts are, which is what we're going to further delve into today. Thirdly, David Ogilvy, also the father of advertising. Many of you who are a little bit younger, I'd say less than 30s, aren't as familiar with David Ogilvy unless you read a lot. One thing that really drew my attention with him was that when he built his advertising firm in the early days, he just said, here are 100 ideal clients. We're going to go after them. We're going to do whatever it takes. I don't care if there's 1,000 other clients out there who want our business, but these are 100 clients who we really need to focus and do whatever it takes to be able to add value and win their business. Okay, just a quick disclaimer. So I'm not guaranteeing that you will achieve the same results as me. I'm not guaranteeing that you're going to have the same results and journey that I've had in entrepreneurship. That's nothing like that. But what I do guarantee is that after today's presentation, you're going to have a much clearer mind and much more breakthrough strategy in terms of what it really takes to leverage Facebook ads for B2B. Because what I see that's being taught is that a lot of the strategies are more B2C focused, business to consumer facing, as opposed to actually how do you target businesses and actually win these bigger deals. let me share with you 3 winning case stories so that you get a feel of, who I am, what I'm capable of. Okay, so my first case story I'd like to share with you is Brendan. So Brendan was able to close a $29,500 deal, and he was able to achieve this by repositioning his business and value proposition to focus on a niche as opposed to be everything to everyone. So just like what I'm going to further discuss today, it's not about trying to be everything to everyone, but it's trying to be the best person you can be, the best solution you can be to a particular type of niche or particular type of best buyers who are really craving for your solution and craving for your solution that is able to improve their life, their business in a way that was never achieved before. Second case story is Gus. So Gus went from 5K per month to well over 20K per month, and it's much higher than that right now. So that was about 300% net growth in less than 4 months. In order for us to be able to achieve that, we pinpointed Gus's strengths, his hidden skill sets, and really unlocked undertapped resources and potential which was already within him. But business is really all about, can you ask the right questions at the right moment in order to unlock the right resources to push yourself forward. Third case story is Mark. So with Mark, we scaled rapidly from 17K per month to 60K per month in less than 6 months. So that's just under 300% growth. So we're able to pinpoint Mark's leverage points, remove his core constraints, all the blockages that were holding him back both personally and in business, because essentially business is an extension of yourself. So anyone who tells you, you can succeed in business, just forget the personal side of things, they have never really built an actual business. So at the end of the day, as long as your business grows, you yourself personally have to grow. And my promise to you is after this presentation alone, after you have a multitude of breakthroughs and aha moments within your own self, is that your business will essentially be able to grow starting as soon as tomorrow. Let's get into the 8 myths that I always constantly hear when people go ahead and ask me anything to do with Facebook ads or using Facebook ads to be able to land big deals on demand. Okay, so the first myth is Facebook ads don't work. So I can't imagine how many times I've actually heard this quote. So I've heard this particular myth probably at least about once a week from someone within my network or someone from my extended network who always says Facebook ads don't work. But the question I have to ask is it Facebook ads that doesn't work, or is it that your pitch sucks? Or is it that your message to market sucks? Because I don't care what medium we use. If your message or your pitch sucks, you're never ever going to be able to communicate correctly with your customer. And worst case scenario, you're going to attract the wrong type of customer or client. So let's keep that in mind. And the fact that if you look on this graph right here, Facebook has market capitalization of $406 billion. The company is worth $406 billion, not million. This is billion with a B. So they're obviously doing something right, considering that their entire income source comes straight from Facebook advertising. So don't tell me that Facebook ads doesn't work. I'm going to give you a strategy today that really will shift your whole mindset and inspire you to understand that Facebook ads really does work. Secondly, paid advertising requires a massive budget. So I always hear this from a lot of people that tell me, okay, look, I only want to do free marketing strategy, whether it's cold email, whether it's cold calling, or whether it's standing on the street just yelling at people to go buy my product. That's free, it works, it's cost effective. Okay, you may think it's cost effective, but the truth is you don't see the peripheral damages that's actually occurring. You don't see the fact that it may be damaging your brand, it may be damaging your message, it may be damaging the industry, and it may also be damaging your bottom line, which is the worst case scenario of it all. So just understand that if you're going to do billboard advertising, okay, it requires a massive budget. But for what I'm teaching you today, you're going to be able to get started for as short as little as 12.54 cents. Like literally 12.54 cents per day per mini campaign. That's what it will take for you to be able to get started. I know it sounds a bit counterintuitive, but bear with me till the end. You're going to really see all of this come together. Thirdly, that decision makers are impossible to reach. Okay, look, if you have a horrible pitch, if you go ahead and say, "Oh, hi, Mr. Decision Maker, could I please go ahead and pitch you my deal? Could I please do this?" Of course, they're going to be hard to reach because at the end of the day, their time is money. Like they don't have the time to go ahead, sit there, and just listen to you pitch all day. If that's what's really happening through the phones, if that's what's happening through cold email, we're going to go ahead and really go through a strategy today to be able to use a Trojan horse to get through to decision maker. And by decision maker, I mean someone who can actually say yes, not someone who says no. The fourth myth is that big clients take 100 times more work, they're hard to please, they take too long to close. Okay, if you use traditional methods, if you use what everyone tells you, like whether it's cold calling, whether it's cold emailing, and if you really go ahead and believe to yourself that it takes that amount more work to be able to satisfy a big client, then you have to ask yourself, are you going by past experience? Are you following the truth, or are you just going by what you read online? See, the thing is in business is we always have a lot of limiting beliefs that hold us back. The thing is, yes, big clients may require a lot more fulfillment in terms of a lot more satisfaction to keep them happy in terms of the quality of your work, not in terms of the amount of work. That's fine. If you have a client who's going to pay you $10,000 per month as opposed to $500 per month, you bet yourself that you should be providing much more quality of work because that's what they're paying for. But that doesn't mean they're going to be micromanaging you. If anything, they're going to be micromanaging you a lot less because they've got a million things on their plate, and the last thing they want is to micromanage you to begin with anyway. Okay, and the fifth myth is that you have to be affluent in order to be able to close a big client. I've heard this so many times from entrepreneurs that they say, look, what if I go into the boardroom and I speak to the CEO and he sees I'm not wearing a Louis Vuitton bag that's hanging off the back of my shirt, whatever. Like, at the end of the day, they don't care. What they care is that you solve their problem. And Morpheus says it so well here. And that is, what if I told you clients only care about you solving their problem? That's it. Be problem focused. Don't be fashion, status focused, whatever. This is about adding substance to your clients' lives. This is about solving their problem. And when you can redefine a client's problem in a way that never previously heard it be defined before, they'll automatically assume you have the solution, which means you will be perceived as an instant expert in their eyes. Myth number 6 is that big clients already have someone with my expertise. If you don't ever try, the answer will always be no. If you don't ever ask, the answer is always no. So at the end of the day, give it a go. I'm going to give you a strategy so at least that when you do give it a go, you're not going to be too out of pocket and you can really get some great market validation and you can be able to close some big deals on demand and really impact your bottom line. Myth number 7 is that we can convert tire kicker prospects into big clients. So there's lots of information being preached online where they say, look, okay, if you really want a high-end client, you want a big client, let's start off selling a $7 ebook. Then let's sell a $49 report. Then let's sell something small for $300. All of that nonsense. All big clients care about is you solving their problem, and they're willing to pay big fees and invest heavily within you as long as you yourself believe in yourself to be able to provide that solution. Look, nobody's got time for tire kickers. I don't have time for tire kickers. You don't have time for tire kickers because at the end of the day, the most limited resource we have is our time. That's the only thing we can never get back. So let's make a commitment today moving forward is that we will no longer dedicate our time to tire kickers. We'll dedicate our time to solving big problems and helping the world in a bigger way. Myth number 8, so the last myth of them all, is that cold calling produces the best ROI. You might look at the numbers and say, hey, look, I can go ahead and actually perform free phone calls through Skype or through my local area network. I can go ahead and just use my direct line. I can call companies all day. I can pitch them. It doesn't really cost me much money. If I land one deal, it'll be all worth it. Okay, now tell me, when's the last time did you really enjoy when someone called your phone and tried to pitch you and you had no idea who on earth that person was? Okay, let's give you a few seconds. Do you have a good think about that? Probably never, okay? Or probably since not the last 10 years. When you look at anything, whether it's cold calling, whether it's cold emailing, let's ask ourselves, okay, what is the actual opportunity cost we're losing here? Because every time you make a cold call, the opportunity cost that's actually impacting you is that if you go ahead and really get rejected, and I'm not talking about, rejection in a way that, okay, the client said no, that's normal. Like, entrepreneurship's all about resilience. But if you're constantly calling and hearing no about 1,000 times a day, how good do you think they'll be doing for your sales team? How good do you think they'll be for their morale? How good do you think it'll be for your morale? These are questions we need to ask ourselves because these are questions that eventually lead to a negative outcome, and you have to be very, very adamant towards that. Before we achieve our breakthrough moment, there's a quote I want to read out to you, which is very important. So when you're about to give up, remember why you started. Why did you get into entrepreneurship? Why do you do what you do? Because when times get tough, when you have any sort of clients who give you a hard time, when you have big clients who don't go their way, just remember why you started. And the whole point of this presentation is to give you an indication as to why you have another strategy to be able to really build the business of your dreams and to be able to get the clients of your dreams. The deals on demand system. You guys ready? Great. Here's the ideal situation of the deals on demand system in a snapshot. So I'm going to delve right into it. There's 7 key elements of this deals on demand system. So the first is you want to choose your target accounts. This is what I call the Dream 100 clients list. So we're going out, we're finding out at Best Buys who are those Dream 100 clients that honestly we would love to have them as clients. They will be happy to pay our big fees. They won't be micromanaging us. They've got a great brand that we can leverage from, and essentially, it would just be an absolute dream to go ahead and have them as part of our portfolio. Secondly, we need to create a Facebook dark post. So don't worry, I'll further explain what that is in the upcoming slides, but I'll give an example of how do we create a Facebook dark post targeting one target account. So when I say one target account, I mean one target company, one target dream client. Thirdly, we need to create a gamified lead magnet. For example, I'm going to suggest that we create a quiz. The general consensus, the general conventional thinking is say, okay, let's create a lead magnet. We need to create an ebook, a 40-minute webinar or whatever. Okay, that's great once we've had the trust of the actual person, but if this person has never really had any sort of association with us or has no idea who we are, we need to create something that's more gamified, that's shareable, and I'm going to outline exactly how we can do that. The fourth element is that we need to create a landing page with an irresistible offer, a godfather offer, if you will, so that they're more than compelled to be able to give up or contribute their email, name and email address so that we can follow up with them and add great value. The fifth element is create a value-centric page. So what happens after they go ahead and actually give their name and email address? We don't want to abuse this because right now that's a very important moment of trust. So we need to go ahead and build upon that trust by going ahead and providing something great value to that target account. It could be a compelling video about strategic insights with the company, how you can see certain opportunities that they're missing, leaving on the table. Look, the medium of it doesn't matter. It could be a video, it could be a long form sales letter, it could be a pitch deck, etc. The sixth element is that we want to set up an online scheduler with pre-qualifying questions just to really gain more market data in terms of where the actual headspace is at and where their goals and challenges are, but to be able to also leverage our time so that they're not calling us at all different hours of the night. Then the last element of the system is to pitch the actual executive briefing. So we want to be able to actually strategically be able to structure the meeting, the 20 minutes meeting that goes ahead and leads to winning the actual deal and getting the actual deal so that we don't go ahead and actually position ourselves as being, your typical snake oil salesman. And then of course you want to be able to follow up relentlessly. Okay, so first step is how do we go ahead and decide on who the Dream 100 clients are? And this is what I call the target accounts. The questions to ask when you're unsure about, okay, which target accounts to go after is, okay, first question is, okay, who? So who exactly is my niche? Do I most care about helping in order to solve a painful problem, which will empower me to provide the fastest and best results possible? Secondly, who is already investing money in my services or an alternative solution to solve the problem in question one? Thirdly, do any of my current clients or members of my current network appeal to questions 1 and 2? And here's a tip, look at your current testimonials, because not only is that marketing goal for you to use and propagate within your market and any marketing or advertising campaigns, but it gives you insights into the particular type of niche that you're already connected to and that you're already helping on a grand scale. Let's go ahead and create our Dream 100. Where are the best places to find your Dream 100 clients? Because the last thing we want to do is start from scratch. You don't want to go to Google and just do one by one who your dream clients are. You actually want to go ahead and leverage Pareto's principle, where we can really cut down our time in aggregating these lists. So first place I suggest to look for is to go ahead and create, find, or purchase an existing list of your Dream 100 clients. There's sources such as Inc. 5000, Fortune 1000. You've also got sources as like Internet Retailer, etc. They're all great sources that if you really put in the effort to go to these aggregators, you're already one step ahead of all your competitors who are trying to do their sort of spammy B2B marketing strategies. Secondly, only time I suggest using Google is when you actually go onto Google and you look for associations or governing bodies that actually regulate your particular niche. But the best way to go ahead and find them is look at sources like the American Association of Association Executives, where they aggregate all the top associations, and then you can look for, the associations of attorneys, the associations of medical implants or whatever. Like, you can find these sources there, so they aggregate the list, and then you can reach out to them and partner with them, or forge a strategic partnership. Thirdly, you can use LinkedIn Advanced Search. So whether it's LinkedIn Premium, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, it doesn't matter. They're two sides of the same coin. But how you use LinkedIn Advanced Search is that you want to be able to actually search for the profession. You don't want to go there and just type in, you don't want to type in any random group. You want to be clear. So let's say if the niche you want to serve, medical surgeons, then you would go there and actually type, brain surgeon, and then see what type of list comes up. And that's literally your Dream 100. The fourth source, which is my secret weapon and saved me thousands of dollars, and just by this alone from this presentation, if you go ahead and just go here, you will save yourself thousands of dollars. So what data.world is, it's an open source data mining aggregator. So what that means is you can go there. If you type in Inc. 5000, you'll find that there's already been someone else who's aggregated the Inc. 5000 list for 2016, and you have all the data there. You'll know exactly, okay, what industry they're in, how fast the company grew, what the revenues were, also who the name of the CEO is, from my memory. So this is all data that if you were to go on outsourcing sites like Upwork, or if you went on any sort of directory and you had to pay them to be able to aggregate the content for you, you'll be looking at 15 cents per lead that you scrape. So you'd be looking at, let's say, 5,000, a list of 5,000 for 50 cents. That's $2,500. So just by you listening to what I'm saying right now, you've already just saved yourself $2,500. Okay, next, we need to find the decision makers. So we're not going straight to the decision makers, so don't get all scared or anything, but we need to understand who the decision maker is, because this level of data is invaluable when we move forward, when we go ahead and actually create the Facebook ad. The first method to be able to do that is to look at the company organization charts. Secondly, we can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, LinkedIn Premium. Third, Ad Data Express when it comes to determining who the marketing and advertising executives are. And the fourth one, which is one that I've really known from being connected with the technology startup community, is ROLC, which is relationship science. So it's a relationship capital platform which has much better data than LinkedIn itself. So if you yourself want to go ahead and pinpoint how do you exactly get connected to someone within your network, that's what ROLC does. The first point of directory to be able to find company org chart would be theofficialboard.com. So as you can see, example here, if you type in Microsoft, you know exactly who's the CEO, who's the chairman of the board, okay, who's in charge of the accounting sector, etc. Next, you've got Wiki org charts, which is really just open source, so you can really have a play around with that. Next, we got LinkedIn Premium. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with Premium. You pay for the paid plan. They give a free trial, I believe. So you're probably wondering, okay, what's the difference between this, so LinkedIn Premium, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator? So the difference between the two is that LinkedIn Sales Navigator is more of a CRM platform. LinkedIn Premium is just so that you can be discovered better. You can have LinkedIn messaging. Like, it really comes down as personal preference. So I'll leave it up to you to play between the two, and then you can go ahead and share with me what you feel is a more viable solution for your needs at the moment. This next slide here, what this really can do, as mentioned, it's a CRM lead builder. So let's say you're looking for people in business development who are the owner or more higher up in the upper management chain, and the company has between 51 and 200 staff, and the industry is within let's say accounting. Then you can go ahead and search, and you can create your whole sort of CRM platform within that, and then you can actually follow all the people, create our own custom newsfeed, etc. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is we just need to know who the decision makers are, what their names are, so that we can really mention their names within the Facebook ads and really create custom tailored personalized ads that really gets the decision maker excited to go ahead and actually reach out to you. Okay, next is Ad Data Express. So this is an advertising database. So if you want to reach out to top advertising executives, so this may not be congruent to you if, like, let's say your Dream 100 clients would be the top 100 brain surgeons in America. This isn't really as congruent, but I thought I'd chuck it in there for people who either sell services to marketing advertising companies or see marketing advertising companies as collaborative partnerships. Okay, so ROLC Relationship Capital Platform, it's absolutely awesome. Honestly, I could talk about how great this platform is for the next 10 years, but just go check it out. It'll be well worth it. It's very advanced, but just go ahead and have a look at it. It's just amazing. As mentioned, why exactly do we need to research the decision makers? Even though we're going ahead and creating content that's going to be the gateway drug to reach the decision maker. So we're creating custom tailored Facebook dark posts, which will go ahead and really be the Trojan horse to the decision maker. Gary Vaynerchuk calls it the gateway drug strategy because essentially it's going to be a Trojan horse, a gateway drug where members of the actual company, so employees of the company, get so excited that they can't help but share it with upper management. So really, there's a strategic way to do it without being completely out of pocket, and that's exactly what I'm sharing with you today. But do take note of who the decision makers' contact details are. Take note of their LinkedIn profile URL, their Twitter profile URL, their executive email if you can get that, their direct line. Like, look, we're not going to cold call, we're not going to cold email, but it's just good to have this handy because if in the event that you want to follow up after you've done your outreach or you want to make sure that the details they give you is cross-correlated, then this is also possible. And as mentioned, all of this data will be leveraged for the next step, which is step 2, so create the actual Facebook dark post. Once you have all of these Dream 100 clients, like the question is, how on earth do you manage all of this? It gets very confusing if you have 100 clients and you want to create custom tailored campaigns. The first step is to leverage spreadsheets, of course, good old Microsoft Excel or using Google Sheets. I love Google Sheets. I used to be a big fan of Microsoft Excel. No offense to it. It's just I prefer cloud-based solutions like Google Sheets. And, really just it's up to you. So at least have something in mind, have something actually managing your Dream 100 because if you don't, it's going to get a whole lot messier. Next, you can use Pipedrive, which is the next step from really having a visualized interface. It's much better user interface, user experience as opposed to just using spreadsheets. It's my highly recommended source. I personally use it. If you click on this link, I'm not reimbursed in any way. I just recommend the sources that I think are top notch. If you want to get really hardcore, and if you're a business at the moment who's enterprise and you're making more than a few $1,000,000 a year, I would suggest using Engager.com, which really is a high-end solution to being able to do account-based marketing, which is exactly what I'm talking about today. But how do you do it in a way that's on enterprise hardcore level? Engager would be my number one recommended source. It's time for what you've been waiting for is how exactly do we create that ninja Facebook dark post to be able to really get to these decision makers and to be able to close these big deals on demand. So here's a snapshot of the Facebook dark post. As you can see right here, it's not your typical type of post that you would see in your newsfeed or what's being preached about to everyone else. Okay, so before we even begin, what on earth is a Facebook dark post? A Facebook dark post, in a nutshell, is it's unpublished on your Facebook page. So it's not like you're going to create 100 different ads for each of these target accounts for each of your Dream 100 clients and just spam your Facebook page. It serves purely as an ad to that particular account. But the good thing about a Facebook dark post is that you don't have any limit, any character limit within your description text. So if you really want to go the whole 9 yards and you want to really have an extensive story to tell or story to sell, so to speak, there's no limit within the dark post as opposed to traditional Facebook Ads Manager where you may be limited to only a few sentences. Okay, so we really need to understand and be on the same page what exactly is the structure of Facebook ads, because if you don't understand this, it can get very confusing. So how Facebook really structures their ads from campaign to ad set to ad is as follows. So I'm going to give an example. So let's say we create a campaign targeting the Inc. 5000, but specifically not all of the Inc. 5000 companies. So let's say your chosen niche is advertising marketing companies that you want in part of your Dream 100 list. Within the campaign, we create an ad set for the particular account we're targeting. So let's say we're targeting the company solar media team, and then an ad within there which calls that particular message. So I'm going to talk about 4 particular types of ads. One of it is the gain. Let's create an ad that calls out what's the gain that they can have once they reach out to you and take you up on your solution or your pitch or your message to market, so to speak. But essentially, this is a simplified version of what it takes to be able to neatly put all your ads so that you don't get confused. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and actually go to Power Editor. Okay, everyone will tell you to use Ads Manager. That's essentially what newbies do, but you're not a newbie. If you've been listening to this presentation up until this point, you're already in the top 1% of people who are willing to go ahead and actually use Facebook ads. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so go to this actual URL that I've got in the header here. So once you land there, you should have a similar interface to this. I know Facebook changes the interface on a weekly basis, so please bear in mind that this may look a little bit different, but there'll be similar buttons and the concept is still essentially the same. Then you want to go ahead and click on Create Campaign. Once you click Create Campaign, you're presented with a neatly done sort of structured sequence of campaign, ad set to ad. So the campaign name, essentially here, as mentioned, Inc. 5000 Advertising and Marketing. So that's your target account list. So where exactly are your target accounts found? Where did you find them? Was it Inc. 5000? Was it Google? Was it personalized that you scraped it? Just make sure you put in some type of campaign so you remember. Next is the name of the accounts and name of the company that you'll be running the ads under. And third, you want to actually write the variation of the ad. Okay, so are you putting in a message that's based on like what they can gain, what they can win from you? Is it a logical pitch? Is it a fear-based pitch? Whatever it is, just write something in there so you can remember. Okay, next, once you click save on the previous slide, you should be able to be presented with your actual campaign created in the left-hand side. So your new campaign should be displayed here. Then next, just go ahead and click on one ad set. So the reason why that shows up as one is because we've already previously created that on the previous step. Next, under traffic, you want to choose website messenger. Don't even bother with app. We're not going ahead and taking them to an application by any chance. So just click website messenger. With the budget, don't go ahead and get all freaked out here and say, oh my God, I'm going to have to set a budget of $200 per day, $2,000 per day. You don't need to do that. Whether it's $5, $10, $20, just start small. I would suggest you could even set it as $5. I just had a default setting of $20, so left it as that, but you could even start as little as $5 a day, even if you wanted to. But that's just for the budget. You're not necessarily going to spend all the $5 per day, especially when you're going to see exactly how I outlined the strategy. But do keep in mind that this is all about starting small but thinking big. Okay, next. For schedule, just do it ongoing. Really, it's up to you to be able to pause it or cancel it in due course when you realize if the ad's working or not working. So don't get all confused about the whole ad scheduling side of things. Next, be as relevant as possible when you're targeting location, just so you make Facebook's job easier. Because the easier you make Facebook's job, the easier they'll make your job by charging you much less and by giving you the most relevant type of ad impressions. Okay, so next you'll be taken to age. Look, okay, the beauty about doing account-based marketing with Facebook ads and by targeting each particular Dream 100 client per ad or campaign is that you don't care about the age. You just care about the people who work in the organization. So age doesn't matter. That's literally set and forget. Gender does not matter. That's literally set and forget. Language, of course, you want to choose the relevant language because if you're writing French in your ad, well, most certainly you must probably be speaking English. I'm speaking English to you, so your target audience must probably be English. So just choose English or. And then detailed targeting is where a lot of people get very confused. They do this wrong, but honestly, this is where all the magic happens. And just by right now, I'm getting so excited to have to share what I'm about to share with you right now. So this is where all the magic happens. And I'm going to teach you how to do it in an absolute strategic way that no one else is doing it. Okay, so for detailed targeting, just click within the actual text box here. Then after, you'll have a drop-down menu, so click on demographics. Then click on work. So scroll all the way down, scroll all the way down until you see work. And then click on this actual magnifying glass. So where it says employers, click on the magnifying glass. Then click within the text box where it says search employers. And then you're presented with, okay, so you need to type in the actual account you're targeting. So let's say we're targeting Solar Media Team. So we type in the company name, Solar Media Team. And then on the right hand side, we'll be presented with how many people who are actually on Facebook, how many numbers of employees are actually on Facebook that we can target. So at the moment, we see that there's 57 people, 57 employees we can target who currently work for Solar Media Team. Okay, so then after you do that, that should be solidified within your targeting campaign. So just double check that it's there. Then click Save Audience. Then you'll be presented with this bigger screen. So just make sure that looks all fine. Okay, it looks great. Audience name, just call it, let's say Solar Media Team US. That's what you're targeting. Okay, US, 1865. Okay, age doesn't matter. Okay, English, people match. Okay, brilliant. Then just click save. Okay, then you'll be taking a placement. Okay, a big error I always see people do in Facebook ads is they always click on automatic placements and say, look, it's recommended, Facebook's going to do all the work for me. That's what I call the stupidity tax. If you let Facebook do the heavy lifting for you when you can't even conjure up the right strategy yourself, you're going to pay through the nose in terms of ad budget and you're going to waste a lot of your time. So I'm here to not waste your time. I'm here to help you leverage your time. So make sure that edit placements is ticked, is selected. So always control this placement. Always go ahead and edit it. I don't care how much you trust Facebook. At the end of the day, just click that. Then next, you'll be presented with, okay, so what device types do you want to target? iPhones, you want to target Microsoft phones, Android phones? At the moment, it doesn't really matter too much. What I suggest is we just target desktop and mobile. So mobile, we just bundle one campaign. I don't normally suggest this when you're doing business to consumer, but we are doing account-based marketing. So it's all about the fact that every impression that we get, so every person sees our ad, is someone that we actually want to see the ad. It doesn't matter. We're not trying to target 50,000 people like you saw in the previous slides. We're targeting 57 people within this organization to be the gateway drug to the actual decision makers. So just bundle desktop and mobile together. It's fine. Then next, the only option you want to tick, and this is where a lot of people get very confused, Facebook ads. They think, okay, maybe I need to have feeds ticked, news feed, desktop feed. I need to have instant articles. I need to have all these other options. The only option you need to care about is the one here, Facebook feeds. That's it. Untick the rest, forget about the rest, and just focus purely on being laser focused on the Facebook feeds. So that'll be desktop feed and mobile feed. Okay, next, don't worry about specific mobile devices here. Like, don't worry about which smartphones you want to target. Just leave it as it is. Next, okay, this is a gold nugget I would tell you that very few people overlook. So for the optimization for ad delivery, okay, it doesn't show it here, but ideally they'll ask you, Facebook will ask you, okay, do you want to optimize for clicks? Do you want to optimize for impressions? Or do you want to optimize for daily unique reach? So if you optimize for clicks, they'll go ahead and try optimize your ad for people who will more likely click your ad. We're not concerned with that. We want every single person organization to be able to see this ad so they can pass it on to the decision maker. Secondly, yes, we can optimize it for impressions, but the problem with that is if they see the ad 10 times a day, they may go ahead and tell Facebook that your ad's not relevant, or they may go ahead and get ad blindness. So how do we go ahead and actually tackle these two problems is you click on daily unique reach so that the person who sees the ad only sees it once in their newsfeed and they see it the moment they first log in to Facebook for that particular day. So just by having daily unique reach ticked, you will go ahead and get the best quality traffic, best quality eyeballs that no one else is considering when it comes to actually setting up a Facebook ads campaign. So ensure your ad will only be shown once per day and your ad will be shown first before scrolling syndrome kicks in. So before the end user starts to scroll at 5,000 miles an hour, you show up right at the top so that you have the most fullest attention, and that really is the most underpriced attention that no one else is really capitalizing on. Then this last box here, okay, so a lot of people leave on automatic. What I like to do is click on manual to get a feel of what Facebook has already set as default for what they believe to be an average sort of cost per thousand impressions. So right now, what Facebook is telling me and telling us is that when you click on manual, a rough estimate is about $2.20 per 1,000 impressions. So for 1,000 people to see that, or at least to have your ad shown 1,000 times, it's only about $2.20. But if we really have a think about this, and if you look at that, okay, $2.20 per thousand impressions, you're probably thinking, oh my God, that's so expensive. Like, like what if you want to show your ad 100,000 times? The numbers really add up. That's, $220. I'm going to be broke. Okay, I'll assure you, don't be worried, because let's have a think about this. Let's do some numbers. So let's say, okay, $2.20 per thousand impressions. Wait, hang on a second. Wait a second. $2.20 per 1,000 impressions shown, and this is per day even, if we were to go ahead and set that as a budget. Okay, let's go ahead and do some maths. So let's zoom up again. So $2.20 per 1,000 impressions. So if that's $2.20 for 1,000 impressions for your ad to be shown 1,000 times, but we're targeting Solar Media Team and they only have 57 employees on Facebook. Okay, so let's say roughly each employee only sees the ad once per day. So that means our daily ad spend is $2.20 times 57 divided by 1,000. I know I'm getting a little bit geeky here, but just bear with me. That comes down to 12.54 cents per day, which if you times by 30 days in a month, $3.76 per month. 12.54 cents per day per account. So let's say we're targeting the Dream 100. That's 12.54 cents times 100, which equals $12.54 per day on average to target your entire Dream 100 clients list. So your 100 Dream clients who could probably pay you, 3,000 a month, 5,000 a month, or whatever you charge on a big deal basis. I'm sure you're going to get a great ROI. So, and that's assuming that you're only going to have the average industry click through rate, which is about 2%, but you're more than likely going to get a 50% click through rate because 50% of the organization are going to say, hang on a second, this is an awesome ad. I think Hung has something to share to go ahead and really share with our boss. Let's go ahead and pass that on. So, this really is a micro targeted, super laser targeted way to be able to reach your Dream 100 client. Okay, so for the Facebook ads dark post, so once you go through those settings, click on one ad here. So it'll just go ahead and tick on what you previously created. Then next, you'll be taken to this side menu. Look, everyone will go, oh, Hung, do I have to create a carousel, a single image, a single video, slideshow, canvas? What the heck? I don't know what type of ad to create. I'm absolutely confused. Okay, this is all about just being able to tell the story and pitch your message as fast as effective as possible. A video is great, but it still takes time for them to be able to watch and absorb your content. So all we need is a quick shot, an image to be able to really tell the story, pitch a message in the most fastest time as possible. So leave it on single image. That's adequate for now. Then next, okay, there's one thing I'd like to point out is with the images, you're probably concerned, oh my God, don't tell me I have to create 100 different ads. If I have 4 different campaigns, that's 400 different ads. Oh my God, I'm going to go crazy now because I'm going to have to lock myself in the basement and create all these different ad variations or ad creatives. So don't even bother with the free stock images because we are creating account-based marketing ad creatives. So ads that are specifically for the company. You're not going to find that in some sort of ad creative about some entrepreneur who looks frustrated, who's punching his or her computer monitor. It's just not going to cut it. So forget about the free stock images for now. We're going to have to go ahead and focus on uploading our own custom images. So before you start thinking that's going to be too expensive to buy stock photography, just focus here on using canva.com, which is an awesome graphics design tool, which has really democratized graphic design. So when you go to canva.com, look, I'm not endorsed or paid or anything. It's just a resource that I use on a daily basis. And here's my recommendation is to go ahead and check out canva.com. Okay, next is make sure that you connect to your Facebook page. You're using the right one. There's actually been so many times where entrepreneurs have connected the wrong Facebook page, and all of a sudden they're wondering why people are questioning or saying certain interesting comments on the actual ad itself. So just make sure that's correct. Next is the website URL. So as discussed within the 7 elements of the campaign, we're going to take them to a quiz. Don't worry too much now about what the heck's going on with the quiz. I'll talk about that later in due course. In the next few slides, but let's focus on the fact that we need to make sure we are sending to the right website URL. Next is we need to have a compelling headline, a great text body that really tells the story and the value proposition we're offering. The call to action button, just leave on learn more. Don't get too caught up. Oh, what call to action button should I have? Should I split test this, split test that? Just keep on learn more. That's really been the evergreen one that always works well. Newsfeed link description, generally I just use the same as what's within the actual text body here, so don't stress out too much about that. Display link, so the great thing about Facebook is that they allow you to display a shortened link if your website URL is incredibly long, so that's something nice that they allow for you to be able to do so that it just doesn't look spammy. Okay, so you're probably wondering, okay, what type of ad variations are there? Okay, there's four particular types of ad variations that honestly will always win the game when it comes to business marketing. And the first one is gain. So what can the Dream 100 clients, so what can Solar Media team actually gain from being able to take the next step should they contact you? So, what can they win from being, a part of your world, for being, a part of your product or service? Secondly, what's a logical sort of proposition that you're offering? That's generally quantifiable. It's a numbers-based metric. Third, okay, fear. So, what's the fear based message that you're bringing about in terms of, what's the cost of them not doing business with you? And fourth is optional. So, I'll talk about that in the next few slides. Okay, so here's a slide. Before you get confused, I'm going to outline step by step. Okay, so at first, of course, you want to make sure that your actual page is attached correctly. And then here we have, which is counted as the description, the actual text body. What you want to include is first you want to address the company, so Solar Media Team. Then you want to say, does Gabrielle, so Gabrielle is actually the name of the CEO, so you want to really personalize it to the decision maker. Note that you are 21 questions, which that 21 questions amounts to how many questions you will have in your quiz, away from adding 2 million to your bottom line. But look, that's as specific as you can get in terms of a compelling gain win proposition. Like, I don't know any company who would say no if you said that you would bring $2 million to their bottom line. Then the call to action simply is just take the test to find out. So, really, it's a gamified approach to performing a winning ad. It's not saying, blah blah blah, do this, get a white paper report, click here now. Like, that's all like B2C typical sort of strategies. This is really personalized ads for your Dream 100 clients. And as you can see in the ad creative, what we've really done is to be able to say, okay, how do you make it compelling, gamify the ad? So I've given just a very simple example. It's got a simple background, doesn't need to be 100% sexy or anything, but you've got your logo plus a question mark, so it gets them to stop in their tracks, equals your quantifiable metric, your quantifiable gain. So equals plus $2 million. And I purposely chose that to be green color because, of course, money, bottom line, is associated with green, associated with money. So the headline in this case is a headline there where I'll call out specifically, I say, Solar Media Team is number 92. Inc. 5000 2016, impressive. So really, that just honors their hard work and really gets them stopping their tracks, because a lot of the time, especially if they're on their mobile devices, they'll scroll down halfway and then all of a sudden this headline will catch their attention and they scroll back up. So you really need something that is personalized, commemorates their hard efforts, and what I call personalized appreciation. The next newsfeed link description, so as mentioned, it's the same as the description on top here. Call to action button, learn more, and your display URL is essentially, just linking to the actual quiz URL. Okay, so that was the gain of Facebook ad, the Facebook post that we're using. So the question is, okay, what do we do for logic? Okay, so with logic, most of it's the same except for the quantifiable metric. So in this case, the quantifiable metric is me mentioning here 3-year growth of 3,428%. So that's why I say here, Solar Media Team, there's Gabrielle, know that there are 21 questions that can take your current 3-year growth of 3,428% to the next level. Take the test to find out. And the only difference to ad crowd now is that I say that the company plus the achievement symbol is what I call it, equals, question mark. What does that equal? So it keeps them on board with curiosity. And same thing here, I'm giving that personalized appreciation there. And it's the same in the newsfeed link description as it is in the upper description here. Next is the fear-based ad. So, what are they going to lose if they don't take you up on your proposition? So here, what they're going to lose is $2 million. So literally it's just the opposite of the gain ad. So it's nothing too ninja or too crazy. We're just flipping it a little bit in terms of message. And I'm saying here, okay, Solar Media Team, does Gabrielle know that there are 21 questions that could save you from losing $2 million from your bottom line? Take the test to find out. And same thing I say here, okay, logo plus question mark equals quantifiable metric, which is a loss of 2 million. As you notice, I've got it now in red because that's what happens if you're going to lose anything, you're generally in the red. Okay, and then the last but yet optional one that you can do, which you can really split test this. This varies from company, industry, but can also be somewhat evergreen, is to go ahead and actually the only thing you're really going to change here is the quantifiable metric. So what we're going to call out as a proposition within the actual description, the text here, will be split test. You can mention the gain approach, you can have the logical approach, the fear approach, or you can, as mentioned here, I just said the logic approach. So I just went smack bang in the middle. Solar media team, does Gabrielle know that there are 21 questions that can take your current 3-year growth of 3,428% to the next level? Take the test to find out. So just in case you're wondering, okay, how on earth did I get that number? That was taken directly from the Inc. 5000 list. So don't ever lie, don't ever make up numbers. Get that data because data always wins, and data equals personalization. Okay, so essentially, as you can see here, I sort of spiced it up a bit. I've got a picture of the team photo, which this is the beauty of social media. If you go on their Facebook page, if you go on their Twitter, there's going to be some way or other you're going to be able to find an actual picture of the team, have down the ad, then include the logo and the achievement symbol. So it doesn't have to be too sexy, but enough, striking enough to be able to actually get them to stop and say, hang on a second, what's this Hung guy talking about? Okay, then next you'll be asked to create your Facebook pixel. Okay, man, I cannot say how important this is. So the amount of advertisers who never create a pixel for their campaigns, it just blows my mind because your pixel allows for you to be able to cookie their Facebook account so that you can do remarketing, you can track your optimization, you track your campaign, see what's working. Just whatever you do not skip this step. So click on create a pixel and get that pixel going. Okay, then after that, the next step is anytime you have text in your ad, you're going to see this ad, don't be scared. So the ad, okay, so Facebook Ads Manager will say directly to you, your ads reach may be slightly lower. You may reach fewer people because there's too much text in the ad image. Facebook prefers ad images with little or no text. Consider changing your image before placing your order. Get guidance on reducing image text. Okay, don't worry too much about this. What they're saying is on a general level, based on general data, you're going to get a smaller click-through rate, a smaller engagement rate, but this doesn't matter now because what we're doing is we're calling out to the specific actual target account, a Dream 100. We're not spending a huge amount of budget, so it's fine. Just don't worry about it. Then once you're ready, click on Review Order. Then you'll be taken back to Power Editor here, which Power Editor, you'll see a whole bunch of the ads you just created. So just double check that you've gone ahead and actually ticked the right ads. Don't go and untick the wrong ads. And then go to the upper right hand corner and just make sure that you click on review changes here because once you do, your ads will go live. And once your ads will go live, or at least about to go live, you'll see a screen like this that says which changes do you want to apply. So again, double check on which ads that you want to go live to actually go ahead and run. Then click continue. And once you click continue, that means you're good to go. And you pretty much just set up your Facebook ad. So the question is, okay, you mentioned I need to create a quiz. What the heck? Like, what type of quiz do I create? Where do I start? Like, all these questions. Okay, just calm down. Don't worry about it. I'm going to explain that in step 3. So our lead magnet will be your quiz, just like what I've presented on here. What is your business personality? Take the quiz. So it doesn't really sound like you're selling anything, does it? Because it's all about engagement. It's all about personalization. It's all about gamifying the connection that you have with your prospective Dream 100 client. Okay, so why exactly a quiz? Before we get right into it and talk about the what and the how, let's ask, okay, why a quiz? One, there's only so much content a person can consume, a PDF, a webinar, a video, etc. Generally speaking, those are great pieces of content, but we need something to be able to capture the Dream 100 client's attention before we go ahead and empower them to commit to anything greater, to anything that requires, more headspace, more attention. We need to respect that. This is 2017 as of me creating this video. This is not, 2005. We need to understand that attention is the game we need to play, and we need to really treasure that with all of our effort. Second, quizzes produce highly qualified leads. So as your and prospective Dream 100 client answers these particular questions, you get a real in-depth feel of where their brain space is at, what level they're playing at, what problems they're having within their business. And that really just produces a much more targeted lead and much greater data so that when you pass it on to your sales team, or if it's you that's handling the sales, you can have much more personalized pitch. Thirdly, provides a personalized result. So when someone performs a quiz, they know that they're not getting the same result as everyone else. That result is based on their input. And it's the same thing as the IKEA effect, is that people value more what they put effort into. So the moment they put effort into a quiz, they're more likely to want to put effort into achieving or realizing what that end result is. Fourthly, so it's engaging, it's evergreen, it's not like they're reading a flyer or billboard that's screaming at them. They're actually engaging with this piece of content, which is the quiz. And then fifth, it's got a higher viral coefficient. I'm sure anyone who's been on Facebook for, I guess, longer than 3 months, you must probably seen a lot of quizzes, a lot of tests that always get shared throughout social media. That's exactly the level of gamification that we want to leverage here. Okay, so what are the types of quizzes? So you're probably wondering, okay, Hung, I understand I need to create a quiz, but what types of quiz can I create? Like, heck, where do I start? Okay, the first place is you can create a personality-based quiz, which is, which kind of entrepreneur are you? Which kind of massage therapist are you? Which kind of SEO consultant are you? Which kind of managing consultant are you? Something that's based on, identity. Secondly, is one that's based on IQ and knowledge. So, how well do you know Facebook ads? How well do you know how to create a webinar? How well do you know how to pitch your next idea? Thirdly, is a comparison. So, should you outsource your SEO or keep it in house? Should you buy an iPhone or Samsung phone? So, comparison ones also work well. Fourthly, you have diagnostic quizzes, which are like, how likely will you succeed in 2017? How bulletproof is your business within the next 3 years? So, these are 4 types of quizzes that we can go about. So don't get too overwhelmed. Just really experiment, have a look around the market, what's working, what's not. But I'll give you a few examples of the ones that I'm absolutely always loved and that have changed my life. So there's 3 particular quizzes. I'm sure these 3 images may look familiar to you. So the first one is Wealth Dynamics Profile Test, which is by Roger Hamilton. That's a profile test about, which type of entrepreneur are you, what type of energy are you. So you need to understand, what does it take for you to be in flow. Secondly, is Sally Hogshead's test, which is a fascination advantage test, which is, okay, like, how does the world see you, and how does the world see where you best add value. So it's a brilliant test. Really inspired me to be able to communicate on a different level. And then the last one is Perry Marshall's test, which is the marketing DNA test, is how do you best sell. So certainly check out these few tests so that you get a feel of, oh, okay, I see that, these tests, even though it seemed so fun when I was doing the test and I got a strategic insight about myself, I didn't really feel like I was being sold to it. But at the same time, whether it was Roger Hamilton, Sally Hogshead, or Perry Marshall, I was able to give them strategic insights into what type of person I am, which makes their marketing and their sales much more strategic, much more personalized and customized. Okay, so how on earth do you create a quiz like this? Look, I'm not asking you to go out there and create the next Wealth Dynamics, Fascination Advantage, or Marketing DNA test, but I do suggest that we start with something. And the best place to start is look at your existing content, look at any list of items, white papers, whatever that you normally give out, convert that into a checklist of items. Once you have a checklist, now convert that checklist into a series of questions, which can now be actually compiled and actually be put together as an actual engaging quiz. So that's the best place to start. And how you can actually do that so that you don't have to create the technology from scratch, hire expensive web developers and so forth, is to actually use either of the following tools. Okay, so the 2 top quiz tools I would suggest is, the first one is Lead Quizzes. So check it out, leadquizzes.com. Next is outgrow.co. So they do lead quizzes, or they do sort of quizzes generate leads as well, but they also focus on doing high converting calculators. So the 2 sides of the same coin. So it's up to you. It really depends on what type of business you're in that will determine whether you'll use a quiz or an actual calculator. So go ahead and just check out these 2 resources. Okay, so after you provide the quiz results to the actual Dream 100 client, but what the heck happens from then on? So what really needs to happen is that the moment your Dream 100 client or any prospective client has filled out your quiz and has had a lot of fun, given up, a lot of strategic insights, answered 10, 20, whatever number of questions that you have within the quiz, and you've now earned their attention, you now earn at least some of their trust, then what you want to do is you want to be able to display their particular results instantly, or that they have to actually opt in, enter their name and email address, and you follow up and you provide their personalized results. But from then on that point, the question is, okay, what do you do after we display results? Do we leave it there? Do we follow up? Okay, what you want to do is you take them to the next step where you want them to actually be engaged to find out more introspective insights about themselves. So either more introspective insights or a further step that will go ahead and alleviate whatever problem that they're currently encompassing that was either mentioned within the quiz or that you address with your product or service. So then we go ahead and say, okay, we display some sort of call to action at the end of the quiz where they click to learn more, some button, your typical call to action button, click to learn more, yes, let me in, whatever, and it takes them to the next step, which is step 4. So we need to display a landing page with a compelling offer where we can really follow up with them and pitch them some sort of value proposition that's literally just an irrefutable offer, irresistible offer, whatever you want to call it. You want to make it a Godfather offer where it's an offer that they literally cannot refuse. And as an example, let's use Salesforce's landing page as an example. Okay, so Salesforce is an enterprise, CRM, and their value proposition here, the compelling offer, is decreased sales cycle time by 29%. Okay, if you're a general local business owner, that doesn't really make much sense. You most probably like, okay, yeah, whatever, I just want more leads or I just want more money, whatever. But when you talk in terms of enterprise and the sales cycle is say 3 months or 6 months, if you can reduce the sales cycle down by an extra month or 2 months, that can actually generally dramatically increase the bottom line to be millions of dollars. So, that's an irresistible offer. It's a compelling offer. So why not? Wouldn't I give up my first name, last name, job title, all this detail just to go ahead and find out how I can actually, decrease my sales cycle time by 29%. So let's keep that in mind. Have a valuable proposition. By all means, do not lie. Do everything with integrity. Don't go ahead and promise something that you can't fulfill, but have a value proposition that really differentiates you head and shoulders among everyone else. Then after that, you want to take them to a value-centric page. So don't just take them to any sort of page that's just going to hard sell them. Take them to a page that actually adds value, that actually further builds connection and trust with them so that they can really see that you are the expert in your field and that you're willing and you care enough to want to help the problem that they're currently encompassing at the moment. Okay, so what type of value-centric page shall we go ahead and take them to? The first one that I always suggest is take them to a case story. So the most interesting, the most compelling type of client that you've had who's really been able to win or be able to stop a problem from happening by encompassing your product or service. Take them to a case story about that. Secondly, have a presentation. Thirdly, it could be a PDF white paper, it could be a report. Fourth, it could be a slide deck, but really it varies from industry to industry. Just get creative. At the end of the day, these are your only ideas. I'm not telling you this is all you can do. What I'm doing is I want to open up your mind in terms of what's possible. So let's talk about case stories for example. So why are case stories so powerful? Because case stories really, if your Dream 100 client can see themselves within one of your existing clients, then all that needs to happen is that they say, hang on a second, that's exactly what I'm going through. That's exactly where I used to be or where I am now. And if that's where they are, and if they already are where I want to be, then 100% I'm going to go ahead and reach out to Hung. I'm going to go ahead and reach out to you because I know that this works. So case stories always win. Just remember that. Okay, next is to go ahead and take them to, a presentation. It could be a video sales letter, it could be a webinar, a long form sales letter, something that adds them a value, addresses their pain. By all means, do not have something that honestly is just a hard pitch. Next is a PDF white paper. I know you may be thinking, okay, these are a bit old school. How many people read PDF white papers? It really depends on the industries. Some industries absolutely love it, like manufacturing. These types of big blue collar types of industries, they love PDF white papers. So it really depends. So what type of PDF white paper report can you send out? You can send out something that's in relation to company research about that particular Dream 100 client. So company research or findings that you've developed or seen within the organization that you've taken note of. So it's really customized content. Next, sharing strategic insights either about the company or the industry, or trade secrets about the industry alone that no one else has been able to discover. Then next is a slide deck. So if you take them to a slide deck, you can literally just take your PDF report, convert it into a slide deck, because now it just has a much more user-friendly user experience. So instead of scrolling down, they're scrolling to the right, which a lot of the times can convert quite well because it's just a much easier user experience. So you're probably wondering, how the heck do I go ahead and create a slide deck to begin with? Check out something like SlideBean. Heck, use Google Slides if you want. SlideBean actually is a great resource if you want some unique templates, but just go out there and actually just play around with a few of these resources. Okay, so after we go ahead and actually take them to that value-centric page, because we are in B2B, we don't want to go straight for, you don't want to go straight for a 3K deal, a 10K deal, whatever. Okay, some industries it may work, but for perspective, if you really want to go ahead and increase your chances of closing a deal, you want to take them to an online scheduler where either you or your sales team can actually really personalize the communication and make them feel comfortable that they're making the right decision moving forward should they go ahead and purchase your product or service. So you're probably wondering, okay, if I use an online schedule, should I just use Google Calendar, iCal? What I suggest personally is take them to a tool that can really mediate the conversation of, what time are you both free? But the question is, okay, why an online scheduler? Okay, so one, it automates bookings. As mentioned, okay, avoids the ping pong conversation. So instead of you saying, Mr. Business Owner, I'm free 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Are you free 8 o'clock? And the business owner says, no, I'm not free. Can you do 10 o'clock? And you say, no, I'm not free at 10 o'clock. Can you do 2 p.m.? And goes, no, I can't do 2 p.m. Can you do 6 p.m. In 2 days' time? So it just avoids the whole ping pong conversation. So that's the brilliance of it. You can just cut straight to the chase and make sure that you both are mutually on the same page in terms of when you both are mutually available. Secondly, it reduces no-shows because it empowers the Dream 100 client or whoever you're booking a meeting with that they need to commit to a time, they have a reminder, they have a follow-up to make sure that they don't actually miss. And also you can integrate deposits in advance so that if in the event they don't show up to the actual particular type of booking, meeting, what have you, you can actually be compensated for your time. Thirdly, it's a real-time portal for accounts-based management, so you can know exactly what's going on in terms of, okay, so how far along the sales process am I with this Dream 100 client? Okay, we've got X amount of appointments booked with our Dream 100 clients. That means the others haven't been pushed across or have been inspired across the line to be able to book a meeting with us. Okay, maybe we need to work on there. And then fourthly, it provides pre-framing and future pacing. So with a lot of these online schedulers, we can include questions for them to fill out so that when your sales team or you appear on the phone, you've got this ammunition to be able to really structure the conversation based around their problems, their needs, so that you don't come across as your typical salesman or your snake oil salesman that's trying to hit them over the head and say, buy my product or service now because of dot, dot, dot. You're really doing it from more of a consultative and advisory sort of perspective. So, these really are your four main points for why online schedulers are very valuable. So you're probably wondering, okay, which online schedulers can we use? I suggest you can use Schedule Once. They've got a beautiful interface, very simple, very user-friendly. It also integrates with PayPal. You do need a business account with PayPal, so just keep that in mind. The next one that I suggest that I've used before is You Can Book.me. You Can Book.me actually integrates with Stripe, which is the benefit of that. User interface probably isn't as sexy, but it gets the job done. Okay, then the final step of the 7 key elements, which you've been waiting for, of course, is to pitch the executive briefing. How do you structure the actual meeting once you get the Dream 100 client on the phone? What on earth do you say? Okay, I'm not going to give you a word for word script, but I am going to give you the most strategic questions that I've used for both myself, my clients, and my high-end clients who pay me big fees to be able to really increase the close ratio when it comes to actually dealing with much bigger accounts. These are what I call the almighty 7 questions. So first question is, Mr. Decision Maker, if we were to have this conversation in 12 months' time, what would have had to happen in order for you to be happy with our results? So focus and pre-framing the relationship. That's exactly what you're doing. You're saying, okay, in 12 months' time, what is it that you really want? What do you foresee happening? So really, it's a great question to really kickstart the actual executive briefing or the meeting, if you will. Secondly, what do you believe needs to be strengthened in order to support achieving this? So really what you're looking for is the root problem. So you analyze what the real root problem is. That's actually at the basis of everything before you move forward. Third, what options have you looked at to achieve this? So we're really meeting them where they are, acknowledging the fact that they have tried, to alleviate this problem before so that we can really be on the same page. Fourth, is there anything that you or your employees are doing that may be getting in the way of achieving this result? So we're determining the core constraints here, what the bottlenecks are, so that moving forward, if we know that there's 20 employees that are really getting in the way, then that really says that there's a lot of corporate politics going on. And from here onwards, you will decide whether you want to deal with that corporate politics or you want to go ahead and say, okay, maybe we need to fix that first before they actually partake in my product or service. Okay, question 5. Why should prospective clients choose you over your competitors? So we're pivoting them to the unique value proposition for them to be reminded of what really makes their business different and stand out. Because the truth is, if they cannot answer this question, if the CEO, the CFO, whoever you're talking to, cannot answer this question, it's a good sign. That's probably why the business isn't where it is. Question 6. What was the main reason that you wanted to meet with me today? So you really want to reiterate the focus and get them back on the same page so that they don't sort of drift off with the fairies and sort of lose focus on what on earth is going on and why this call happened to begin with. Question 7. Should we proceed? Who will be making the final decisions on this project and who will be in charge of implementation? So what you're trying to determine is who will say no, because the person who will say no is not always the same person who can say yes. When you deal with most bigger clients, okay, if you're listening to me now, you haven't really dealt with big corporate clients and accounts, you're going to understand that there's a ton of people can say no to the organization, but only a few selected few trusted people within the company can actually say yes. So this whole Facebook ad strategy is about getting to the people and inspiring the people who generally say no to build the trust and share your message with the people who can actually say yes. Then here's some strategic additional questions you can also use. They're not mandatory, but they're additional that can really go ahead and solidify the fact that you have a very strong position in their mindset to be able to actually help them with the problem that they're currently encompassing. So the first one is, how important for you is it to solve this problem? Second question, what would the perfect solution look like? Third, what is it worth to you in order to solve this problem immediately? Fourth, how soon are you looking to get started? Okay, then once after the executive briefing takes place, okay, what every single salesperson does, or any sort of entrepreneur who really just wants to cut to the chase, so to speak, is that they just forget about the deal, whether they say yes or no, or, I don't know how that went, okay, goodbye. Okay, one thing I suggest for you to do immediately after you go ahead and actually have the executive briefing is you want to use the purple cow method. So Seth Godin refers to as purple cow method to be able to stand out. So whether the prospect says yes or no, do this one thing to differentiate yourself from the rest of the herd, and that is to go ahead and send a thank you card. And you're probably wondering, hang on a second, what do I have to send a thank you card? This isn't Christmas. Like, I'm not in the third grade. What's going on? Okay, so a great thank you card resource you can use is send out cards so that you don't have to manually do it yourself. You can really send it out, pay a certain fee, and it's customized and it can really be sent to them. But I do suggest to be able to actually FedEx it to the actual prospective client, your Dream 100 client, to send them a thank you card, because when you're talking to these big CEOs or big decision makers, whether they're worth 1 million, 2 million, 50 million, whatever, for them to give you 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your time, 20 minutes of their time, to be able to actually connect with you, that is actual gold. Like, honestly, do not take that for granted. Respect people's time, because if you respect people's time, they'll respect your time, and it's only a matter of time until they want to go ahead and take you up on your product or service. So get a thank you card, FedEx that to them. Make sure it's personalized. Mention something funny that you spoke about during the actual executive briefing, or something they talk about on a personal level. Just mention that in the thank you card. And you're probably wondering, okay, why the thank you card? I understand that I can send it to them. Okay, it's great. I'll differentiate myself. But here's the main reason why. It's because once you send a thank you card, he or she would never ever forget that conversation. And now you have empowered your prospective Dream 100 client to actually have a story worth sharing, to actually have something tangible in the office within the company that they can actually share the story with others. When people say, oh, who did you get that thank you card from? Oh, I got it from Hung. Had a call with him the other day. He shared some strategic insights with me about the marketing advertising industry. Yeah, he was just a really nice guy. Like, you never know where one connection can take you. So never ever underestimate that. It can always potentially lead to future business. So make sure we always follow up with these Dream 100 clients, because that's really the whole basis of this deals on demand strategy, is that we're relentless in being able to nurture these high value relationships. Okay, then after that, okay, so let's say they reach out to us and they say, yes, Hung, okay, I'm ready to go ahead and go forth with this. We had a really great executive briefing. Our organization can really benefit from your products or services. You're like, okay, fantastic. I'll send you an agreement. Okay, so you're probably wondering, why do I say agreement? Why don't I say contract or proposal? Firstly, a proposal is just a place for your prospective client to get lost. If you're going to send a proposal, just reiterate, what you spoke about in the meeting. Don't try to make it like this 100-page essay about why you're so good. All that does is create doubt in their mind. Once you create doubt within your prospective client's mind, they start to doubt your product or service. The next, why don't I say contract? Because if you say contract, they find it's just a way for them to feel like, oh, hang on a second, this is a year-long commitment, whatever. It really taps into people's lizard brain, as what Seth Godin calls it. So just be aware of that. Just say it's agreement, because by saying agreement, it puts both you and your prospective client on the same level, same mutually beneficial level, that you're there to be of service to them, and they're there to go ahead and make sure that they're going to spend the time and capital to invest in you in order for you to be able to be of greater service to the client themselves. Okay, so agreements should always be goal oriented with milestones ahead. So it should be a reminder of the level of ROI, level of return on investment that you actually provide within the agreement once they move forth with it. It should list relevant guarantees, exclusivity agreements, fast action bonuses if you want to be able to close the deal as soon as possible. So these are just factors to keep in mind. Okay, so you're probably wondering, okay, if I've got international clients, how on earth do I send an agreement? If I FedEx something, it can get costly or it takes too much time. So I suggest using PandaDoc, which has ready-made templates. They're a great resource. I've used them for a lot of my high-end clients. Next, if you already have some great winning templates, you can put existing templates straight into HelloSign and then just provide an e-signature, which you can actually track how far along the decision-maker process that actual agreement is actually taking place. So how on earth do you go ahead once you've won the deal and you want to get paid? How do you go ahead and actually process the transaction? You can use something as simple as FreshBooks. I know it's mainly for small businesses in terms of accounting, but most of the time, if you haven't got a solution, I suggest start there. So it integrates with Stripe. They've got great support, and yeah, just check them out. You can use Stripe, you can use PayPal, you can use 2Checkout to be able to process transactions from clients. By all means, one thing I suggest is when you have clients on retainer, make sure that you can bill their credit card or whatever debit card that you use, so that you don't have to continually sell on a monthly basis. Like, Mr. Business Owner, can you pay your invoice? Can you pay your invoice? By them being on a retainer, it just makes your job a heck of a lot easier. Okay, so if you'd like for me to personally help you get more clients, customers, and deals on demand, just click the link below or the link in the description. So fortune is in the follow-up. So you're probably wondering, okay, if they don't say no, if they don't say yes straight away, what do I do? What if prospects don't take me up on my irresistible offer right away? What do I do? And that's a brilliant question. It's a great question. Okay, so here are some great follow-up strategies. Firstly, I would suggest to do email marketing. So to do personalized outreach, which we combine with actual quizzes. Okay, so what a lot of people do, I absolutely hate this, is that they will go ahead and add you to a mailing list if you haven't even opted into that email list. Like, that's just spam. Don't do that, okay? Just don't do that. So what you want to do is you want to actually email one by one people who've actually completed the quiz, people who've actually gone ahead and reached out to you. Don't send a spam email unless you're running, some broad-based promotion. But for someone who's reached out to you personally, you owe it to them to be able to actually respond back on a personal level as well. So the best way to actually do this to leverage your time is to add an extra question in the quiz. So let's say if normally your quiz is 20 questions, add a 21st question that asks them, would you be open to receiving additional guidance on solving X problem? And if they tick yes to that, that means they're a hot lead. You want to follow up personally through email to say, hey, I noticed that you ticked yes for question 21. How can I best help you? Really follow up and really have that personal touch. This is business to business. Like, when you can really humanize the way you do your marketing, your selling, you will always win the game of being able to close the best deals with your best buyers. Secondly, you can perform a warm phone call. So 24 to 48 hours after they receive the actual quiz results, go ahead and follow up and say, hey, I noticed that you took the quiz. What are your current pressing problems at the moment? Thirdly, we can do direct mail. So this is a strategy that for a lot of you offline marketers who like to get a bit more tactical and follow up on a tangible basis, is that we can send them like a cute gift alongside a thought-provoking letter with, a winning headline. So let's say we follow up through direct mail. We send them lumpy mail, so something that's FedEx with a Rubik's Cube, and the headline is literally like, is your current marketing advertising keeping you puzzled or producing puzzling results? Dot, dot, dot. Really get creative. It could be magnifying glass. It could be like, are you struggling to go ahead and actually see results in your current campaigns? Are you struggling to see ROI? You could use a mini calculator. You could say, okay, are your current numbers in business not adding up because of your lack of return on investment for your Google AdWords campaigns? Just really get creative. That's the whole essence of strategic marketing, and being able to advertising that actually works correctly is to actually be strategic about it and to approach it from an angle that no one else is doing it. You could also integrate a Facebook Messenger bot. Look, this may be quite new to a lot of you guys, but what you can do is when someone actually sends a message to your Facebook page, you can do automated reply based on a particular word that triggers a response. So you can check out manychat.com, you can check out flowxo.com, but with ManyChat, what you can do is anyone who's responded with your Facebook page, you can actually now build a subscriber list of them. You can somewhat, pixel them so that now you can build a list within Facebook Messenger, and you can actually send a broadcast through Facebook Messenger. But I don't suggest for you to actually abuse that, okay? So whatever you do, do not do spam. Everyone hates spam. Okay, you might like spam the food, but in terms of spam marketing, nobody likes it. Then lastly, we can do LinkedIn mail. So a lot of people tell me, okay, LinkedIn mail is so expensive. Why am I going to pay $10, $15 to be able to actually send a LinkedIn mail to someone? It just doesn't make sense. It makes sense when you're very clear on who your Dream 100 clients are, because you're not trying to send 100,000 to people. You're only sending a select few on a daily basis, and majority of the time people's LinkedIn inboxes aren't anywhere as crowded as their email, so you can potentially actually get a better deliverability rate. So in my opinion, I believe it's much more effective than the cold email, but you yourself just see how you go, split test between LinkedIn mail and whatever email outreach you do. But certainly these are many strategies that you can really use to follow up to increase your close ratio. Okay, just one more thing. And the most frequently asked question I always get is, does this work for business to consumer? Does this work for B2C? And hell yeah. Okay, so here's how. So instead of thinking on the Dream 100 clients mindset, let's pivot to Dream 100 partners. So who are people that we can partner up with who have access to the customers that we really want to be able to connect with as well? So I would suggest to target aggregators. So these could be associations, governing bodies, magazines, trade journals, list owners, people with our fan base, and offer to become an educational partner, promotional partner, strategic alliance, joint venture, whatever you want to call it. And then we use this entire deals on demand strategy, but to use a Facebook ad to actually pitch a potential partnership. So how the heck do we do that? Okay, so the most important thing to really realize is that we need to always strive to build trust by association to access other people's customers in order to exploit your bottom line profits. Like, business is not geometry. So the fastest path to building trust to your customers is not necessarily always going straight to them, but it's going through someone else who already has extreme trust with that particular type of customer or clientele. So let's say, for instance, you have a cold pressed juice business. You have amazing cold pressed juices, state of the art, cure skin cancer, whatever claims or whatever you want to do, whatever value proposition you have, and you need to reach these consumers. Don't make a Dream 100 clients list or Dream 100 customers list. Go out there, make a Dream 100 partners list. So, okay, I've got a cold press business. Who can I partner up with that has access to my customers? Hang on a second. My customers, they go to gyms, they go to spa and beauty centers, they have to see the chiropractor because whatever reason, they have to fix their spinal adjustment, whatever. They go to doctors, naturopaths, whatever. So conjure up a Dream 100 partners list and use a Facebook ad to go ahead and pitch a potential partnership with them to win the ability to be able to get them on the phone and pitch that executive briefing. So what to do next? Okay, so what I want for you to do next is definitely don't procrastinate and let any aha moments go to waste. Get started today, get started now. Don't go ahead and say, oh, this is all overwhelming. I don't know what to do. Just do something. So do be flexible yet committed. Not all campaigns will go your way, but understand, look, that's the whole point of why we all got into business entrepreneurship. It's about resilience. It's not about what you do during the good times. It's about what you do during the challenging times, the tough times, that really makes you a strategic entrepreneur. Okay, if you're time poor and you want me to do all of this for you, so you're like, okay, this is great, Hung, this all sounds great. I can see how this is effective strategy. I'm happy to go ahead and have a chat with you about that. I'm not here to sell you anything on this presentation alone, but only if you're willing to invest in yourself. And my solution certainly is not cheap, but I do guarantee that I'll bring in 1 million or more in 12 months or less. So if you're interested in that, just click the link below or click the link in the description. Before we go ahead and really wrap things up, just remember that the secret of getting ahead, as Mark Twain says, is to be able to just get started. You don't have to go ahead and be perfect. Just get started, just do something. Thanks, guys. I hope you had a lot of fun watching this presentation. You're blown away by the way that we can really combine accounts-based marketing in conjunction to Facebook ads. So just let me know how you went. Please share a great comment below to let me know on a scale of 1 to 10. How excited are you to be able to start implementing the campaign so that you can go ahead and get deals on demand? Like I said, would you like me to personally help you get more clients, customers, and deals on demand? Just click the link below or the link that's within the description, and we can certainly have a chat, really connect, and help you go ahead and just make this year the best year possible. All right, thanks, guys. Stay awesome.